Hey guys, welcome back. Today's video is going to be makeup I'm glad I didn't buy this year on my low buy. I did a video like this a few years ago called eyeshadow palettes that I'm glad I didn't buy. And lately I've seen people do this video with just makeup in general that they considered buying but are glad that they did not end up purchasing it. So these are products that I did strongly consider buying, but I'm glad I was able to talk myself out of them. I've been on a low buy all year and it has gone quite well, and I'm still deciding what I'm gonna do after this. It is a year-long low buy, so it goes to the end of December. We'll see what I end up doing after that. I did recently do a low buy update, so I'll link that in the cards if you do want to see that. Let us know what products you really wanted to get, but you were able to talk yourself out of them, and let's get started. The first thing that I considered buying all year were the BH Cosmetics Birthstone palettes. And I really like BH Cosmetics. I have at least 5 of their palettes and I think it is a great formula. And Angelica Nyqvist has been reviewing those Birthstone palettes every single month. And a lot of them look really nice. Some color stories I liked better than others, but probably the ones I was most interested in were the Garnet, the Sapphire, the Peridot. They look so nice and they're very affordable and I really like the formula. However, I am really glad I didn't buy any of these because they are only 7 eyeshadows and one of them is a pressed glitter. And I know people are kind of mixed on pressed glitters. Personally, I don't like them. I don't use them. I like a metallic eyeshadow or a shimmery eyeshadow, but pressed glitters, it's just not for me. It's a personal preference thing. So when 1 out of 7 out of all of these palettes is a pressed glitter, I'm glad I didn't get them because I don't know, that's just a decent percentage of the palette that I wouldn't use. So these are affordable. They look amazing. I love the BH formula. I actually didn't buy any BH palettes this year on my low buy. It's a brand I really like, so I kind of do want to try more from them. They are a brand that kind of releases a lot though, and then they discontinue things kind of quick. So it's a little bit difficult to keep up, honestly, with BH Cosmetics, but I am happy I didn't buy these palettes. Next up is another brand I really love, and that is Juvia's Place. And I really wanted to buy their lipsticks they came out with. I can't even remember when they came out with these. If it was earlier this year or when. But I've heard really good reviews. However, I am glad I didn't buy these because I don't need more lip products. This year I've been really focused on trying to project pan as many lip products as possible, and I just don't need more. I don't really use the lipsticks that I have enough. I tend to reach for the same colors over and over again. This formula sounds great, but I just know I would not have gotten my money's worth, so I'm glad I held off on getting the Juvia's lipsticks. And then I also was very interested in the quads that they came out with. Particularly the green one looks amazing. However, I just don't reach for eyeshadow quads. I like a bit of a larger palette. I like a bit more variety. I have some quads in my collection now that kind of just sit there. So even though I really like the Juvia's Place formula, I have quite a few of their eyeshadow palettes. I don't know, quads, I just don't think they are for me. I prefer a larger palette. So again, I'm really glad that I passed on these. Next up, another one of my favorite brands actually is e.l.f. Cosmetics. And for the year, I really considered getting the e.l.f. Putty Blush. I've been really into cream blush and cream bronzer this year. However, I'm glad I ended up not getting this. I did buy the e.l.f. Putty Bronzer, and I like it, but honestly, I don't think it's amazing. I much prefer the Fenty Cream Bronzer. It's obviously more expensive, but I just like that formula more, and it's more pigmented than the e.l.f. one. The e.l.f. one is almost a little sheer, and I have to really build it up. And from what I've heard, it seems like the putty blushes are the same formula as the putty bronzer. So I think because I only think the putty bronzer is okay, I'm glad I ended up passing on the blush. I have enough cream blush anyway. I don't need more. I have some amazing ones that I love. The NYX one, Tower 28, many more. I am set on cream blush, so I'm glad that I did not buy this. Another thing I kept considering buying more of, which is so ridiculous, are those e.l.f. bite-sized quads, because last year I bought several of them and I decluttered all of them. I just felt like the formula was only okay. And I don't know, but it's like, this is something people keep hyping up, and that mint one came out. That one looked so nice, and I was like, ooh, maybe I should get that. No, what was I thinking? I already bought several of these, and I was not overly impressed. I didn't think they were bad, but I don't know. I just wasn't wowed by the formula. So, every time people talk about these e.l.f. bite-sized palettes, people seem to love them. So I'm like, oh, maybe I should give them another chance. But it's like, no. Just because they're $3, I don't want to waste my money on a product I've already tried and I already only think is just okay. That has been a big thing for me on my low buy this year, is just trying to buy things that I know I will use and will work for me and my preferences. It's easy to get caught up in the hype, you know, and you hear people talking about things that they really, really enjoy, but yeah, we don't all like the same things. So I'm trying to make smarter purchases. That has been a big thing for me. Another thing I considered buying is the Pat McGrath Celestial Odyssey palette, her holiday palette that I think is $78. She came out with one in this size, but a different color story last year, and I did not buy that one, and I considered getting this one. I think the colors are beautiful, but I'm glad I didn't get it. I just don't think I would have used it that much. And I have two of the larger Mothership palettes, and I really, really like those, but I don't even use those as much as I wish I did. And I still kind of want the Utopian Dream one, but I'm just not sure. So I didn't want to kind of settle for this palette because it's slightly more affordable for Pat McGrath. It's still expensive. $78 is not cheap. So again, I didn't kind of want to fall for the hype on this one, so I'm glad I waited. Next up is another one of my favorite brands, and that is Natasha Denona. I have been wanting to try her different Chic products for a while, and I was strongly considering buying one of her individual highlighters pretty much for the last like 2 years. But I have been on like a major highlighter low buy / no buy. The only highlighter I technically bought was in the Charlotte Tilbury face palette that I bought, but I have not bought an individual highlighter in over a year. I just realized a lot of mine look the same. I don't need that many. I'm into more of a subtle glow anyway. So I'm glad I ended up not getting the Natasha Denona, even though I've heard really good things. It's $38 for a highlighter, and I just don't think I'm gonna get my money's worth out of that. Something though I do want to buy, I do plan on doing a separate like makeup wish list video, by the way. I have been planning that, but anyway, something that would be on that list, I do want to try the Natasha Denona Cheek products, but I think I want to get one of her face palettes. I think I hear really good things about those. And in there, then you could try like a blush and a highlighter, and I think I'd get more use out of that than just a highlighter, when all my highlighters look the same anyway. So yeah, definitely glad I didn't buy this. Then we have this Jouer face palette I considered buying. It's called Champagne and Macaroons face palette. I've been kind of wanting to try Jouer again. I have tried their concealer and it's really, really good. And then I tried this lip balm from them many, many years ago, and I really didn't like it. And those are the only two things I've ever tried from Jouer. So I hear really good things about their highlighters and their blushes, but this face palette got mixed reviews. So I'm glad I ended up passing on it. And I don't know, I just don't think I would have used it all that much. I have plenty of blush. I don't know. So I'm glad I didn't end up getting this. I do want to try Jouer again. Like I said, their concealer is really, really good. I ended up giving it to my mom, but yeah, I would totally buy that again for myself. So I'm glad I did not get this, but I kind of want to try something from Jouer again, but we shall see. And then last up, I want to talk about 3 products from another one of my favorite brands, which is Charlotte Tilbury. And I have really wanted to buy her lip liner, which is $22, and people are like, it's the best lip liner ever. I feel like that and the Pat McGrath lip liners get a lot of hype, and I do have some of the Pat McGrath ones, and I think they're really good. But the lesson I've learned through that is I'm just not a big lip liner person. I don't wear lip liner all that often. It's like, why buy another super expensive lip liner that I'm just not going to get my money's worth out of? I don't know. It just seems kind of silly. I've already got, I think I have several lip liners. I don't know how many I have. I think I have 8 or 9. I'm planning an updated makeup inventory, side note, but that is on my to film list. Yeah, I just don't think I would have used it enough. I hear such good things about her lip liners, but I'm not really a lip liner person, so why waste my money? Also on the list from Charlotte Tilbury are more of her quads. I have 2 of her quads, and like I said earlier when I was talking about the Juvia's Place quads, I don't reach for my quads that much. And whenever I see her releasing new quads, I'm like, oh, they're so beautiful. They're so beautiful. People are like saying they're amazing. But I have two full-size palettes from Charlotte Tilbury. I bought the holiday one from this year and holiday one from last year. And I think those are better formulated than the quads. I have two quads and I like them, but I think her larger palettes are better. And also money-wise, her larger palettes are $75, whereas her quads I think are $52 or $53. But I use my larger Charlotte Tilbury palettes all the time. I love them. They are two of my favorite palettes in my collection. So even though they cost more than the quads, I feel like I'm getting more of my money's worth because I'm using them more and I prefer the formula. Her quads, like I said, the two I have, they are good, but I don't like the formula as much as her larger palettes, so buying more of these just would make no sense for me. Last up, something I have wanted since it came out was the Charlotte Tilbury bronzer. This is $56, and I hear amazing things about this bronzer, but I kind of had the realization with bronzer, same as highlighter really, and kind of same as lipsticks, where I don't need that many. I reach for certain bronzers, and I feel like bronzer is one of those where you find it's about finding a formula and an undertone that works for you. I am a little picky about bronzer formulas because I find that some are a little bit patchy, but I have some in my collection now that are great. I love the color and the formula. So I don't need a ton of variety in my bronzer. I need like 2 or 3. So I did buy 2 cream bronzers this year, but I haven't bought any powder bronzers in well over a year. And I'm just happy about that because, again, I just don't think I get my money's worth. The Charlotte Tilbury one, it sounds amazing. People love it. I mean, I'm sure it's great, but I have bronzers I like. I'm also incredibly light-handed with bronzer these days. I put a little bit on to kind of shape my face, but I don't use a lot of bronzer. I used to be more heavy-handed with bronzer, and I just don't find that as flattering on myself. So I barely put on any bronzer anyway. I have ones that work for me. If I had spent $56 on a bronzer I would barely get use out of, I just feel like that would have been a huge waste of money. That is it for this video. I am very happy I talked myself out of these purchases. And yeah, we shall see. I am really happy with how my low buy has gone, and I've been kind of thinking about doing another low buy, but just kind of with different rules, because I was kind of thinking if I don't do anything, if I don't set any limits for myself, I may go overboard again. So I think I do need to keep setting myself some sort of purchasing limits with makeup because yeah, I can go overboard. I love makeup. I can't help it. So I'm kind of thinking exactly what that will be, but we'll wait till next month to talk about that. I have so many more year-end videos I want to do, and I do want to do a makeup wish list video, and I've got more Project Pan finales and empties, so many things to film. So yeah, that is it. Let us know if there is makeup you really wanted, but you were able to talk yourself out of. That is it. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.